Right, Shalom, giving all praise unto Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemukah HaKodesh. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone and the honest brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And above everybody are coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemukah HaKodesh. Giving all praise unto Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemukah HaKodesh. It's going to be a relatively quick video based upon this little image that we see here. And I tried my best to basically do the picture in such a way where you don't know who it is. But I suppose if you know the person, then you know you know who it is then. But yeah, pretty much we've been smitten with madness. Okay, we've been smitten as a people. We've been smitten with madness. Not to select this particular individual and put him on blast like that, but the scriptures does say, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions." And there's a whole bunch of transgressions here, namely idolatry. And the madness is crazy because Jacob walk around the earth with a bunch of Edomite people on their garment. Okay, Jacob literally walk around the earth with a bunch of Edomite people drawn on their garment. That's kind of weird, bro, when you really think about it. Really, when you think about it, there's no real group of people that really do that upon the face of the earth. Now we know these heathens, some of these heathens, they be into the Christianity, but the way Jake is into the Christianity, man, they'll make it fashionable. I remember, you used to go to the auntie's house, you see the Madonna on the mantelpiece, and it's like you got a statue of the Edomite woman in your house. That's not even how the Lord looked. The image doesn't even portray what the Bible speaks about. If you really understand where a lot of these symbols come from, it really goes into the Queen of Heaven. Really goes into the Queen of Heaven. All right, and we're not supposed to be partaking in those particular things, namely the idolatry. But that's why I start the video off by saying Jake has been smitten with madness. This ain't our culture to be all up into the gods of the heathen. Scripture says within the book of Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, "Learn not the ways of the heathen." Right, so we ain't really supposed to be, we're not supposed to be partaking in any other Christmas that you see. We're not supposed to be partaking in any other Queen of Heaven worship. As a matter of fact, we're supposed to eschew that. And that's what we see was the distinction between the men of old that made it, that was delivered from a treacherous situation, and the men that was destroyed in that treacherous situation. We see the distinction was the hardcore belief in Yahweh Shema Shabbat Shemukah HaKodesh, whereas certain figures that was all up into the idolatry of their day, which really you see is the same figures that are used for idolatry. Okay, so the Queen of Heaven, go back in the history, she had a different name depending on what culture you was in, and so on and so forth. And we see the same thing returning back to this day, but they've just put the Christian twist to it. How many times have we gone into the information now, where we got into the information and linked up? Okay, look, boom, look, brother, this ain't what you think this is. This is not an image depicting a righteous event from the scriptures. This is really an amalgamation of scriptural ideas, but they're rooted in paganism. And that's what you see throughout the course of history. You saw certain figures amalgamate the Christian doctrine, right, as it were in them days during the time of the Crusades, with the paganism that was happening at that time. That's why you get events like Christmas, and that's why you get to this day, you still got dudes out here reverencing Mary, which what saith Yahweh, what saith the scriptures concerning Mary? It's like, look, you should, play the part in a beautiful story. Okay, remember what the scripture said, blessed are the paps that gave thee suck, roughly paraphrasing. And Yahweh Shai pretty much cursed out that person for all intents and purposes, saying, look, man, it's about me. So to speak, it's about me. The book is written of me. But Jake is going to walk around in 2025 with a Edomite drawn all over their garment. Okay? We got to leave the plantation Christianity, but we understand, us the men of the Lord, we understand not every brother is going to come into the understanding, because it's about the elect. And going into the elect, the scripture says if it was possible to deceive the very elect, meaning to say a lot of these people out here within this world, they're going to get it when they get to the kingdom. They're going to understand when they get to the kingdom. But as for their existence right now, they're just waiting out their time until the Most High destroys them. you know, you might feel some type of way about that, but what saith the scriptures concerning us being worried about the creature? The Most High created a creature. Okay, the Most High created that particular creature, the creature being man. So if the Most High selected a certain amount of individuals to be destroyed, that's the Most High's will. Who am I? I didn't create the creature. Okay? I didn't create the creation. The Most High created the creation. You understand? The Most High created the creation. How much more so that the Most High should be the one saying, look, there's this particular person, there's that particular person, there's this particular person. It's the Most High. But when it comes down to it, we're down here in the flesh, and some of these people, they might be your friends. You might have known them from school. You might have known these people out there within the world because you work with them, right? You used to hoop with them or whatever. But really, if you're of the order of the first fruits, it's nothing. Okay, it has to become like nothing. That's why it's kind of, this path is a bit of a cold path. Okay, it's kind of like what did Chris Tucker say when he was pretending to be Michael Jackson, listening to 50 Cent? He said that beat is cold-blooded, man. Well, these scriptures is cold-blooded. Okay, it's cold, but really, it's not cold for the children of Israel. It's cold. Yeah, they're gonna be destroyed, but that's a mercy. Because we understand from the scriptures, when they get born back into the kingdom, they ain't going to be walking around the earth with Edomites on their garments, man. Reverencing Edomites and saying, that's my master, that's the true Lord. Because they're going to know. The scripture says that all shall know Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. And this is where I'm going to end the video. All shall know Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. With that, I must say, praise unto Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, Bashim Korah, Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and the honest brothers with labor, pushing his truth in sincerity. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom.